Hi everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll give you ILTV's latest positive highlights. Get ready to smile because coming up, the top gifts you can get from Israel, the warmest way to stop pain, and some Israeli culture that's appearing on TV screens all around the world. ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh is now sharing her list of must-see spots in the capital city of Jerusalem. Let's take a look.
Israel's capital, Jerusalem, is on every tourist's itinerary. There are endless things to see and learn about, ranging from historical sites to unbeatable scenery. I'm giving you ILTV's list of must-go-to spots in Jerusalem. The first stop on our list is the Machne Yehuda market. It's the largest market in the capital city with over 250 vendors selling everything from fruit and vegetables to delicious foods and tons of Judaic items. It's a beautiful maze of different smells, sounds, and sights to see. During the day, it's the place to be to walk around and try an array of foods with unbeatable energy, and at night, it's the nightlife scene of Jerusalem. The Kotel, or the Western Wall, is the next spot to visit in Jerusalem. It's one of the most magnificent and significant remains in Jerusalem from the days of the Second Temple, destroyed approximately 2,000 years ago. Thousands of people visit and pray at the Western Wall, located in the Old City, and while there, you have to check out the Western Wall tunnels. The Western Wall itself stretches along almost half a kilometer, but today, only part of the wall is visible. The tour of the tunnels allows visitors to reach the segments of the wall that are hidden from view and touch the original stones. Unbelievable sight to see. Next must-see spot on the list is the Yad Vashem World Holocaust Remembrance Center. This museum is the ultimate source for Holocaust education, documentation, and research. You'll find inside the Museum of Holocaust Art, Hall of Names, Children's Museum, and the Avenue of Righteous Among the Nations. Each section documents accurately one of the darkest chapters in the history of humanity. There's not a dry eye in the whole museum. One of the aspects that makes Jerusalem so undeniably unique are the stones that make up the city. This pale limestone has been used in buildings since ancient times and has been used in many of Israel's most celebrated structures, such as the Western Wall. In fact, municipal laws in Jerusalem require that all buildings be faced with local Jerusalem stone, which was actually part of a master plan for the city drawn up in 1918. There's, of course, tons more to see in the ancient city, but you're just going to have to come check it all out for yourself.
A tiny ancient relic has now been returned to the birthplace of Jesus, centuries after being gifted away. And ILTV's Nittany Manson has the scoop.
1,400 years ago, a small wooden relic believed to have been part of Jesus Christ's manger was sent to Rome as a present to the Pope. But now the ancient shard, enshrined in an ornate silver case, has made its way back, as the Vatican returns the relic to the Church of St. Catherine in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. And this regifting also comes coinciding with Advent, or the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, marking an incredible once-in-a-lifetime Christmas present to the Christians of the region. That said, while the thumb-sized shard will now stay permanently in Judea and Samaria, the original request from Palestinian Authority President Abbas was to borrow the whole manger.
أكيد شعور فرح وإحنا فخورين إنه يجي قسم من هذا المذود عنا على بيت لحم لأن بنشعر بروح ربنا أكثر موجودة معنا وهذا إشي ثبات إلنا لمسيحيتنا كوجودنا كيان مسيحي في بيت لحم وإحنا بنتأمل كل المذود يرجع لنا يعني لبيت لحم.
Still, it's an amazing gift, and hundreds of worshippers arrived from all over to receive the relic, including a group of young Palestinian scouts who played bagpipes while the crowd looked on and took pictures. Then later in the evening, the Bethlehem City Christmas tree was lit for the coming month. So it seems that Thanksgiving is officially over and the holiday season is here. So happy holidays to all.
New mosaic findings in Israel's north is opening the door to a long-lost, thriving community of Jews that little is known about.
When the Second Temple fell in the 1st century, Jews scattered out of Jerusalem as Romans invaded and brought down the city's walls. Some hid out in the desert, and many fled the region altogether. But with new rainbow ceramic tiles, a Jewish community that seems to have survived and thrived during these times has now been located in the ancient town of Majulia, and it's changing what anthropologists previously thought. Not only did Jews live in the city, but they put a lot of effort into decorating their public spaces. Excavation director Dr. Michael Osban said that findings show a turn in synagogue usage. Jews used to use synagogues as study halls, but the ruins lead these excavators to believe that the buildings became prayer halls at this point in time. And the mosaics don't show any pictures in full, just limbs of animals can be made out. But researchers believe that the mosaics may have been intentionally dismantled. Archaeologists say that while synagogues used to be unadorned, this time period saw the addition of mosaic tiles and colors to prayer houses, inviting community members to be a part of the synagogue and treat it as a community gathering space. Excavations from this area also gained media attention when Osban discovered a Roman period synagogue that was abandoned around 350 CE, and it looks similar to modern synagogues in this Golan area and throughout Israel today. Osban also uncovered remnants of a potter's kiln, considered the first of the era to be found, along with olive presses. And while other archaeologists might not have put the time or effort into uncovering this small bit of mosaic, Osban said it's only the patience of masters like himself and his team that could bring these few pictures of historic Jewish life to the public.
All right, now in other news, the holiday season is upon us. So, for your consideration, here's ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh with the top 5 gifts from the Holy Land.
There's absolutely no better time of year than the holiday season. Family time, tons of great food, and best of all, endless presents. And it doesn't get any more special than to get your family and friends presents from Israel. Here's ILTV's list of some amazing gifts to give. First up, a good cookbook. The Sababa Fresh, Sunny Flavors from My Israeli Kitchen book, written by the American-Israeli food writer Adina Sussman, contains over 125 recipes for dishes inspired by the bustling stalls of the Tel Aviv Carmel market. Best of all, the book is only $25. If we're already on the topic of cooking, another gift idea is the Cindiana Trio gift set. The gift package contains 3 bottles of extra virgin olive oil produced by a fair trade nonprofit in the Upper Galilee, who, by the way, employ both Jewish and Arab women. This olive oil has won awards and is the perfect house blend for every need, from cooking to skincare, and only costs $22. What would a good meal be without a gorgeous dish to put it in? That's why the third gift is a 7-species Armenian serving bowl. This 10-inch ceramic bowl was handmade and painted right here in the Holy Land and is a favorite in shops in the Old City in Jerusalem. This gift is a beautiful piece for any house to have and only costs $50 to get. A map of Israel by the Jerusalem scribe is another special gift to give, created by the scribal artist Kalman Delmo, who offers a colorful calligraphed map of Israel that's made up of words of the prayer for Israel and is a bit on the expensive side, costing $200. A little high-tech gift idea would definitely be the Taito Home Medical Exam Kit. This little kit and telehealth platform is designed so you don't have to drag your kids to the doctor so often. This medical kit examines body temperature, heart, lungs, skin, ears, and throat, and sends the results to a healthcare provider. The device itself only costs $300, and each exam doesn't exceed more than $60. Definitely worth it if you ask a hypochondriac like myself. Of course, there are endless gift ideas to get any family member or friend, but these are ILTV's top 5 just to help you get started right before the holiday season.
Is it true that love is the best medicine? Well, an Israeli study shows how touching a loved one can reduce the feeling of pain. Let's learn how that works.
Over 5 decades ago, the Beatles revolutionized love worldwide, singing simply, "I Want to Hold Your Hand." A new Israeli study now shows that hand-holding may do more than just bring people closer. Because according to researchers from the University of Haifa, people who hold hands while experiencing pain felt pain less. The study also shows, however, that this works best between people who have a close relationship. 2 people who are strangers don't quite get the same benefit. Still, the team is now moving ahead to examine if hand-holding can also reduce emotional pain. But responding to the research, a postdoctoral research fellow named Julia Sulivetto in Sweden has expressed skepticism. She says there may be other explanations for why hand-holding and empathy could affect the way the brain experiences pain. For one, when people are under stress, they feel pain more, but it's less intense when they're feeling relaxed, and a physical touch from a loved one can be the key to relaxation and thus reducing stress. Whichever way you slice it, though, we here at ILTV still think that hand-holding is worth a shot.
Israeli researchers in the Negev are at it again with an incredible discovery that could change the world as we know it.
Researchers from Ben-Gurion University of the Negev consistently wow the world with their achievements. And this year, BGU was even ranked 15th out of 50 in this year's Nature Index of Young Universities. But this latest discovery published by Professor Gonen Ashkenazi and his team may just take the cake, because they've managed to develop a system in which synthetic cells can mimic their biochemical counterparts. So how does it work, and what does it mean? Well, according to BGU's press release, Professor Ashkenazi's team from Ben-Gurion's Department of Chemistry explains that a regular live cell can maintain its life cycle and replicate naturally as long as there's a source of energy nearby, because the system recreates the equilibrium state of biochemical cells, allowing the synthetic cells to receive energy and expel waste properly. As for what it means, well, the implications are practically endless. First, the findings may offer a glimpse into the origins and evolution of early life, but they can also lead to the development of better medicines, as well as biodegradable zero-waste electronics that break down at the end of their lifespans.
Pancreatic cancer is notoriously one of the most difficult cancers to treat, but a newly developed Israeli therapy is showing incredible progress in overcoming it. And ILTV's Nittany Manson has the details.
According to a recent Tel Aviv University study, a newly developed therapy might just be a key to beating cancer. The findings have been published in the medical journal Oncotarget, and they reveal that up to 90% of cancer cells present in the body can be eradicated after 2 weeks of daily injections with this treatment. So what does it entail? Well, specifically, the study shows that following daily doses of a small molecule named PJ34, human cancer cells will destroy themselves during mitosis or while trying to divide. And in one study, an infected mouse's tumor actually disappeared completely. Further, researchers say that PJ34 appears to have no impact on healthy cells, adding that the mice continue to grow and gain weight as normal. Then finally, the Tau team tackled pancreatic cancer because it's so hard to treat. And just 2 years after successfully testing the method on triple-negative breast cancer, meaning the results could be even more effective against other types of cancers that are easier to diagnose and deal with. So when will this be available for human trials, though? Well, project leader Professor Malka Cohen-Armon says it'll be at least 2 years before that happens, depending on funding and the success of treatment in pigs.
Moving on, in Israel, it turns out that sadly, one of the biggest challenges in women's health is simply administering the tests. Take cervical cancer, for example. With early detection, the disease is treatable and even entirely preventable, but according to the Israel Cancer Association, fewer than 50% of women between 35 and 55 actually get a pap smear as recommended, which is every 3 years. Well, now it looks like an Israeli femtech firm is looking to change this dynamic and hopefully save lives. I'll give you that story. Over 200 femtech companies exist in Israel, making products intent on bettering the lives of women. But founded in 2012, Israeli startup Mobile ODT might just take the cake. The company creates digital technologies and screening solutions to make gynecological medical testing more accessible. And their products cover a wide range of issues. In mid-November, Mobile ODT announced progress toward financing its AI-based cervical cancer screening test, or a visual PAP. Visual PAP detects the presence of cervical dysplasia using digital images of the cervix and artificial intelligence comparison algorithms, and it's set to launch soon in South Korea. Among many other products, the company also produces a so-called SANE system, or sexual assault nurse examiners, which is a device used to collect evidence of sexual assault. But the crown jewel of each of these products is Mobile ODT's EVA system. EVA utilizes smartphone technology to not only conduct various tests, but automatically sync the data with online medical databases, allowing for faster medical supervision and diagnosis, as well as more comfortable, stress-free testing. And EVA is already also used in 27 different countries and 70 different healthcare systems in the US alone. So as CEO Ariel Beery explains, we use our phones each and every day. Let's use them to save lives. All right, now, the fight against single-use plastics is moving one step further in the Holy Land as the capital looks to update its policy in schools.
Currently, Israel has a major problem with plastic. Citizens of the Jewish state are estimated to spend roughly $57 million on single-use plastics annually, and the results have been dramatic, from the landfills to the streets and, of course, to the beaches. In fact, Israeli schools in Jerusalem alone are responsible for using nearly 30 million disposable plastic products every year, according to Globes. But thankfully, things are starting to change. Images of Greta Thunberg are being printed and posted in workplaces to encourage waste reduction. Individuals across the country are banding together to protest the country's dependence. And now, the Jerusalem municipality is additionally taking action. With some 7 to 8 million shekels in funding, the capital is now preparing to set up a plastic-free environment in Jerusalem schools, starting with the kindergartens and community centers. Mayor Moshe Leon revealed the decision following the success of a 6-month pilot, and the plan is to simply replace disposable plasticware with reusable and washable dishware. Also, each school will adopt a plan that fits best for them, whether it's a dishwasher, hand washing, or even sending dirty dishes home to be washed by parents. Hundreds of kindergartens in the ultra-Orthodox and Arab Israeli communities will not make the switch just yet, though, citing logistical issues. And most likely this is due to dietary and kosher restrictions that make the change a bit more complicated. That said, the national non-religious kindergartens also follow such rules, and no explanation for the discrepancy has yet been given.
Have you ever seen the video footage of the emergency plane landing on the Hudson River in New York? Well, it could make you nervous to fly, but thanks to a new Israeli technology, engine failure could soon be avoided.
Airplane engine failure is no joke. If you remember, in 2009, Captain Chelsea Sullenberger was able to bring all of his 155 passengers to safety when he completed an emergency landing on the Hudson River. Both the plane's generators were affected by a flock of unforeseen geese flying into airspace. New technology coming out of Israel's Technion can now monitor a plane's trajectory to see if it's losing altitude and also to see if there are any potential obstacles that might get in the way. The algorithm was just recently tested and can now be integrated into the cockpits of small aircraft and drones. In a simulation using a 4-seat aircraft, a plane assumed engine failure while flying over the Galilee in Israel's north. The algorithm found the best landing strip available and showed the cues on the screen to help navigate there. The technology aims to make things easy for pilots who are undergoing immense stress, and some of the research for the revolutionary technology was supported by the Israeli Ministry of Defense. The research team behind the development says the algorithm can be adopted into general aviation aircraft cockpits and even unmanned ones.
Israeli dramas are getting so good that countries from all over the world are buying them up. Well, we'll tell you about a few shows that international audiences are about to fall in love with.
ככה פשוט השארת אותו שוכב על הכביש? זאת לא עבירת תנועה. זה חיים של בן אדם!
2 hit Israeli TV series Your Honor and Asylum City are now making their way abroad, and specifically to Europe and Australia. But the show Your Honor, or Kvodo, will be airing in Sweden and Poland, where it was just recently purchased by local TV networks. The program is about a judge who takes on a new life after his teenage son kills the boy of a local crime boss during a hit-and-run accident. Further, the show will also be remade by Showtime in the United States, and it has some serious star power. The show is also called Your Honor, which is English for Kvodo, and it'll run for 10 episodes, including Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad as both the show's lead and executive producer. Meanwhile, Asylum City, from the same network as Kvodo,
מה שהרג אותה זה 3 מכות בחפץ כהה בראש.
אנחנו נתפוס אותו.
כן, השאלה היא מתי.
כל מה שאני מספרת לך נשאר בינינו.
is based on a novel by an Israeli writer who created the thriller in 2013, and this show is heading to France and Australia. Asylum City looks into the world of human trafficking and asylum seekers, and both shows come from the Israeli hit network Yes, for which Fauda was produced and recently picked up in Bollywood too.
And now for this week's Torah portion of the week with Sandra Oster-Barras, the director of the Christian Friends of Israeli Communities in Heartland.
In this week's Torah portion, we read of Jacob's experiences in Haran when he is with his uncle Laban and his marriage to his wives and the birth of their children. And we know, of course, that Leah immediately conceives and has a number of children, and Rachel, no matter what, she is not able to conceive. And of course, this causes her enormous, enormous pain. And at one point, she comes to her husband, she comes to Jacob, and I just want to read you this scripture. When Rachel saw that she had borne Jacob no children, she became envious of her sister. And Rachel said to Jacob, "Give me children, or I shall die." Jacob's response is, number one, he's very angry. And then what does he say? "Can I take the place of God, who has denied you fruit of the womb?" So first of all, we immediately ask ourselves, why was Jacob so impatient with Rachel? Why couldn't he be more empathic, understanding of what she was going through? Any woman who wants children, it is one of the most painful things that they go through if they are not able to bear children, especially in the case of Rachel, when her sister Leah, who was not even supposed to be the wife of Jacob, here she is the wife, and she's bearing all these children. But I think if we pay close attention to what Jacob actually says, I'm not sure that it reflects an impatience with Rachel about her pain. I'm wondering if it doesn't reflect an impatience with her about the way and what she's demanding of him. What does he say? He says, "Can I take the place of God?" Perhaps what Jacob is saying to Rachel is, don't come to me. You need to go to God. And if he remembers the example of his parents trying to conceive him and his brother Esau, both Isaac and Rebekah went and prayed to God together. And perhaps what he is saying now is, don't come to me, go to God. But I am left with a question. Perhaps the answer should have been not go pray to God, but like his father and his mother, let's the two of us go pray to God, because he is indeed the one who has denied you the fruit of the womb, and indeed is the one who will bring you the fruit of the womb. And I believe that Rachel did pray. I don't know if Jacob did. Because when Rachel bears a son through her maid, Bilhah, she calls him Dan, and she says, "He has heeded my plea and given me a son." Rachel did pray, and God answered. This is Sandra Osterbaris with a few minutes of the Torah portion from Israel.
That's all for today's Good Week Israel. We hope we've helped you start your week with a smile. I'm Shanna Fold, and see you next week.